Wagwan. It's your boy LP Coach, and we're back. Hey, one second. Actually, I need to do some. You know me and my little interruptions. We're back. Yes, it's your boy LP Coach, and we're back. Say. As you can see, little new settings. I had to quickly just make sure that man's nice and secure ready for the stream. But let's go, man. Game week 13, and the drama continues. Let's go. Yeah, where do I start? Where do we go? We got Estadio, good start. We're talking about the young ballers. Nasrawi came on as well. But let's start at the bridge. Yeah, because it went off at the bridge. Yeah. Chelsea versus Arsenal. 1-1. Some might say points drops. Some might say a point gain from Chelsea. But it was a high tempo game. That game was a high tempo game with the energy going in from both sides. You would have thought that with the likes of Arsenal, they would have thought that this is a type of game that they would need to go on and win, considering a good form, good week win midweek against Bayern Munich. You would have thought, yes, against Chelsea, they're gonna go and steamroll them over. But boy, it looked like Chelsea had something to say, and they had something to say, especially after their 10-men red card from Caicedo. What did you guys think of that red card? For me, what done him in that challenge for me, yeah, was the fact that he jumped in the air. The fact that he jumped in the air, you know, when it comes to jumping in the air, you ain't got a chance there, innit? Like, you jump in the air and you do that, your time's kind of done. So for me, that put him in a non-footing. But then after that, everyone thought, you know what, the game's done. Even for me, I thought, as soon as that red card happened, I thought, yeah, Chelsea's done. This game's going to go to Arsenal. But Chelsea managed to hang on, even though Arsenal, in the first half, they didn't really manage to create nothing. Even the second half, it looked like they ran out of ideas. They still had an XG of 1.45 and Chelsea's XG of 0.88. But with Chalobah getting that first goal in, it was a nice cross. He got in there, head first in there, flicked it on over Sanchez, put them in front. And from that moment, you thought, hey, could Chelsea go on and get what would have been their biggest win of the season, to go 10 men down and to win at home against Arsenal, who some might say is one of the best teams. I even did say myself in the last stream that after their victory against Bayern Munich, you would have to say Arsenal is one of the best teams in Europe. But Arsenal did manage to get their way back in. Saka on the right, dabbling, crossing to the box. And Mourinho was able to get the equalizer. And like I said before, even in the preview, if you watched it quickly, go watch that before you watch this. I was going to say in the preview that the battle in midfield was interesting between Caicedo and Rice. And you can tell that Caicedo was definitely taking in the noise more than Rice did. He was at it in this game. He was really trying to go out in that first half, really trying to get into the tackle and imposing himself on that game. Where I feel like Rice was more relaxed, at the same time a bit more cautious. I felt like he could have done more in that attacking areas, but I feel like they knew the threat of the likes of Estêvão in there. I probably thought that they would have thought that, you know what, let's not give Chelsea too much opportunities, because despite them going down to 10 men, Chelsea did manage to have a threat down the flanks with the likes of the boy Estêvão, who was again had a good game. He had 5 out of his 7 dribbles was completed with 8 progressive carries. Like, for me, I feel like he's really starting to bed himself into European football, especially when it comes to the likes of the fact that he can, his physicality. Always thought that physically, when it comes to European football, as long as you can handle it physically, then your skills should be able to show through. And that's what you're seeing with Estêvão now, the pressure, and him managed to handle the hustle and bustle, because he does get fouled a lot. He is a player that will get fouled a lot throughout the course of his whole career, let alone his young career. So to manage to be able to deal with that in the course of a game, and as well as the pressure of obviously being at a big club at Chelsea, also is all them little factors there. Estêvão is really looking like he's going to be a true gem. You saw in the 55th minute with him and Calafiori on the right hand side when he dropped his shoulder, cut inside, and created another chance for Chelsea. That's the type of product you expect to see him in a couple of years. But the fact that he's showing it now at a young age, like again, I did say the problem with Chelsea again. What you would say, this is opportunity that some Chelsea fans would have thought that they could have won the game. But again, a big problem, what's happening at Chelsea, these red cards. I think it's like 4 red cards they've got this season. It's not something that they can keep going on with. And this is the consequence of what happens when you have a young squad. The inconsistency of just sometimes when you're a young player, you feel like you can just do what you want when you want. And like you can kind of get away with it because you're learning. And I feel like that's kind of the things that Chelsea are going to go through, and obviously they're reaping the rewards of a lot of their potential that they're having in that squad is starting to develop into decent signings. But it's these little things that they're going to hamper them on their way now. Caicedo going to miss their next game. It could hamper them. They might get over it, but we don't know. But to have that headache, that's definitely a headache that Enzo Maresca wouldn't really want for his team. And moving on forward for Chelsea now, I guess it's about going back to the drawing board. Another game in midweek, and then they go again the next week, and the same thing for Arsenal. They want to be getting back to winning ways, especially with this type of draw, because Man City, we'll move on to them later, but they did manage to get a win today, and it's going to be important for Arsenal to keep that consistent. Yes, it wasn't a defeat today, but a lot of people, even me included, I have to say it is 2 points dropped. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 points dropped for Arsenal, and the fact that Chelsea went down to 10 men, they would have to take advantage of that. For me, the fact that they didn't take advantage of that, in my eyes, it makes Arsenal look weak. And see, when I look at Arsenal, I did say what I said yesterday, but this is what happens about football, and this is why you love football so much, that it can change so quickly. So the fact that I saw what I saw in midweek against Bayern Munich, but then again, now what I saw against Chelsea, and the fact that they had 10 men, the question marks are starting to rise again with Arsenal. And can they really cross the line? Okay, because Manchester City, despite their frailties, you would have Arsenal will still need to be consistent. Again, yesterday, I'll speak about Manchester City, but they struggled again yesterday. But they managed to get over the line. With Arsenal, with being against 10 men against Chelsea, they have to find to get way over the line. Quick shout out for the boy. Wanyeri came off the bench, got 15 minutes. He got all his passes were completed. It's 100% pass completion of 6 out of 6. So he done well there in the final third as well. And like I said, this course of the period, we're going to see a lot of these young players getting into the team and going to get chances because of injuries, because of the African Cup of Nations, and the whole load of games. So we're going to be looking at them more. And don't forget to lock in as well. From next week, Monday, we're going to be doing a deep dive show of all of the next generation ballers. If you're not on my TikTok, go on my TikTok. I do post every day, young talents that are out there that you should be looking out for. And I am going to go on the YouTube and do a deep dive into that. So don't forget to lock in and hit a notification on your bell so you don't miss out. Yeah, make sure you hit that bell. Yes, but like I said, I was talking about Manchester City. That's a quick segment moving into Manchester City. 3-1 winners again. A 3-2 winners against Leeds. Shaky start, 2-0. They got 2-0 lead. The boy Foden looks like he's really getting back into form, scoring just after 1 minute. And then they managed to get themselves 2-0 up. Contentious decision went to VAR in terms of if that whole thing playing up is the player impeding the goalkeeper, but there was no problems there. Guardiola made it 2-0, but then City set back 2 goals conceded. First, Calvert-Lewin, little spin. He was lucky. Defender got a little shimmy. He was able to slot it in bottom corner. And then Manchester City conceded a penalty. And then their former player, in Kundu, missed the penalty, but then managed to slot it in. And then from there, it was looking, is it looking like same old City? Is it looking like they might drop points here? But then Foden, 91st minute, great finisher, can't lie. Good little feet work, got the ball out of his foot, slapped it in bottom corner, there to win Manchester City the game. And despite the 3 goals, I feel like Haaland, again, this is the type of thing that Manchester City, if they're going to get to the levels that they need to get to as a team, they need to learn to win games without Haaland. And without Haaland managed to I don't even think he got a chance. His XG today, I think his XG was 0.12. So the fact that Haaland wasn't involved in the game again, which is again, I would say a worrying sign, considering the run that he was on. And we were saying that Haaland is, for me, I was saying he is anyway still a world-class striker. But these different forms are a little bit concerning when Manchester City do need these victories. But Manchester City, the money that they spend and the quality that they have in their squad, you would still expect them to get victories, especially the likes of Leeds. And they managed to get that win today. And the main man today was Phil Foden. Phil Foden, I feel like over the last couple of weeks, he's really started to tune in. He got into the England squad, didn't really quite start, but again, I feel like that's a testament to him and his character that he's come back and his form is still continuing in for Manchester City. And if he continues like this, Thomas Tuchel is going to have a big question marks when it comes to him right now in terms of that 10 role. Where can he fit in all these quality players? And hopefully he can fit in all these players when they are playing well, but at the same time, that obviously the England bit is a bit different when it comes to that. But it's good to see Foden doing well on the England side of things, and it's clearly not affecting him in terms of the fact that he's not getting into the England team just quite yet. But Manchester City breathing down Arsenal's neck, 5 points behind. Like I said, another point win for them, and they're going to need to want to keep this consistency of wins going on. If they want to catch Arsenal at any moment, they've got to be winning. If Arsenal are going to be dropping any points here, it's important that Manchester City are going to be winning these games if they're going to be wanting to win the title. And we're talking about the title, the champions Liverpool 2-0 victory against West Ham at the London Stadium. The boy Isak with his first goal in the Premier League. Are Liverpool now starting to gel in the game? Looking back at the game, West Ham did have quite a few chances in that game, but Liverpool managed to get over the line. Salah not involved in the game today. I think he picked up an injury. And for Liverpool, again, obviously, for Liverpool, it's just about getting the wins now. Obviously, I think before this game, I think they had 9 defeats in 12 or something like that, or no wins in the last 9 games out of 12. And it looking like Slot was on the ropes. It looked like it was time to go. And these wins, they're going to buy him time. And obviously, I did say with the money that they spent, and I do feel the owners have a plan, and with the fact that Jota and that situation, I do feel just for Liverpool, these impacts of them managed to get victories are going to help well for the team and Slot moving forward. The title race, like I said, there's only 9 points off. Obviously, me as a Manchester United fan and seeing title races and seeing my team claw back over the years points, I do feel that this is a type of season that you still cannot write off Liverpool just simply because of their quality. And hey, they might not go on and outright win the title, but it definitely can have a big say in terms of the title and where it might go, because after Liverpool can easily go and now win 10 games in a row and no one will be surprised. So Liverpool getting off a win, getting back to winning ways is going to be important for them, like I said, to keep it up if they're going to want to get back into that title race. But only 9 points, Liverpool are sitting 8th, and there's only 9 points between them and Arsenal sitting at top. So you've got strong 8 teams there. I know there's a few teams like Sunderland and Bournemouth that might peter away, but you've got 8 teams there that, well, I say minus them two, you probably got 5 teams in there, 6 teams in there that definitely feel that they still have a chance of winning a title. It will have something to say in that title race if they can put on a decent run together. And quick shout out to the boy Terry None. He got 20 minutes today as well. Looks slick, looks smooth, and he won three out of 3 duels today. Decent start for the kid. Good to see him getting minutes, and hopefully he can have an impact for Liverpool moving on over the season. And yes, Sunderland. They're still in the top 6. Oh, shout out to the boy Mania. Chelsea, they're in the title race. Chelsea definitely in the title race. And like I said, I do from the teams from 8th to first, there's only 9 points in it, and I do believe 4 out of the 5, well, 5 out of them teams will still believe that they're in the title race. If they can put a decent run together, we all know how Arsenal are when it starts to get this period here, December, February times, can be shaky moments. So with the quality of, definitely with the likes of Chelsea, with your Starville in there, still got Palmer to come back into the team. I think Delat's come back from his injury. Pedro will be looked to be getting back amongst the goals. So Chelsea do definitely still have the quality in there to go on. And it's also as well, Africa Cup of Nations is going to play a big part in that as well. And also the January transfer window. Yeah, let's all look into that, because I do feel a lot of teams are definitely going to try and make 1-2 cheeky signings to give themselves for that advantage, because let's not forget, a lot of these teams are still going to be in Europe, and a lot of these teams are going to be missing some players. So seeing how the table is now is going to be very interesting when it comes to that. And when I'm talking about the table, we've got the likes of Sunderland. Yes, Sunderland. They're still in top six. They're still there. Yeah, they're still worming around. We thought that these relegation teams were just going to fall away and it was going to be predictable, 3 up, 3 down. But no, Sunderland's still in the fight. The boy Xhaka is looking reborn again. He is tearing up the league. 3-2 win over Bournemouth after coming back from 2-0 down. Bournemouth took the lead. Bournemouth took the lead early and got themselves 2-0 up, but then the comeback from the Sunderland was immense, yeah, especially Xhaka, the part that he had to play. I think it was in the second goal where he cut inside and he played that sick pass into the striker. Then he shimmied his shoulder and scored at the near post. That was the type of play that you would love to see in the Premier League, especially from a midfielder. And I was having this debate in a group chat, and we was talking about what's the best midfield in the league. Well, what do you guys who do you feel the best midfield? Who do you think has got the best midfield in the league? And it's interesting now, especially when you see the differences in midfield. Some midfields now play with 3, some play with 2, and it's interesting how you would kind of get that dynamics, especially when you look at the likes of Manchester United compared to say Arsenal, who play 3, and Man United will play a 2, but then the attacking players can also play in that midfield and create option. Sunderland look like they're going to Europe, forget surviving. Yes, most definitely. Sunderland definitely look like they're going to be into that European spot. So we all know every season there's always 1 or 2 teams that shake it up and manage to create a surprise amongst them. And with Sunderland, remember, I think they spent, how much did Sunderland spend this season? I think they spent over 150 million pounds. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they've bought I think they bought like 11 to 13 players, really shifted up. I think the last time we saw that was done by Nottingham Forest, yeah, and we saw that worked. And I think before Nottingham Forest even done that, I think we see quite a few clubs do that, and it kind of put them into a bit of trouble when they went straight down and they had a lot of players on big wages. But Nottingham Forest done it, and look, it seems to be working for them. And it looks like Sunderland have done the same again, spent big, got the quality in. And let's not forget, Sunderland is a very, very big club. We all remember Sunderland from back in the day, their rivalry of Newcastle. Big club, one city club. A lot of fans at their stadium create an absolutely crazy atmosphere. The Stadium of Light, we all know that is not an easy place to go and get 3 points. And Sunderland seem to be sticking in there, and they're definitely looking at a shout for Europe. Whether it's going to be, I don't think they've quite got the minerals to make it for a Champions League, but when it comes to Europa and Conference League, definitely look out for Sunderland in terms of that. And give a shout out to the boy Briggs, another young baller who's doing really, really well for Sunderland. There was a lot of interest for him over the many transfer windows, especially Manchester United as well, really interested in him, doing really well for Sunderland this season. He covers a lot of ground in that midfield. He had 11.2 kilometers covered in this game. I think that's the highest for any player on that pitch in that game. So even though he's 18, his energy, his ferocity about that pitch is really giving Sunderland that impetus to go on and impose themselves on teams. And he also had 4 interceptions in that game. So he's not just running around doing nothing. He's actually picking up balls and winning them and turning them over for Sunderland. So good victory for Sunderland there. 3-2 victory. And what is going on? Because someone please tell me what is going on with Spurs and Frank. I don't know if Aaron just left a little casting spell on them, but it doesn't seem to be going right for him over there. And another defeat for Spurs today. 2-1 to Fulham. Winner by the boy Wilson. And Spurs, I don't know really where they quite go from here in terms of what they do. I definitely feel that they need to go in January. Will they go in January? But again, the problem for Spurs is them scoring goals. We can see when it comes to their attacking options, we know Solanke's out. Richarlison is very in and out. It's like every time he scores a goal, he celebrates it like it's the last goal that he's going to score. But Spurs really struggling in the area. I know Kuleveski is still injured as well. Madison, obviously, the creative spark in the team, but some Spurs just can't seem to be getting a consistency of run going on. And obviously, with the fans and how they are, they obviously thought with Ange Postecoglou going, with what's his face? Daniel Levy going out of the club as well. Spurs winning the Europa League. Spurs probably thought it was a turning corner. Probably thought that there was going to be going in the direction of being a club that's challenging for the Premier League and the Champions League. But it doesn't seem to be quite clicking yet for Spurs and Frank. Shout out to the boy and Archie Gray, mainstay in that Spurs team, 19 years old. You wouldn't have thought it, would you? He definitely looks like a player that is matured upon his years, really settling into that team. Can play in more positions. Started at right back today. Won 6 duels, defensively done his job, but you can see again wasn't enough as Spurs managed to lose the game. But before we sign out today, let's look into the boys Newcastle, who seem to be having some newfound momentum. And I'm going to give a shout out to that defender. I think it's Miley. I might be getting his name wrong. I know the midfielders do is Miley, but I think the centre half, the German centre half, scored 2 goals today, and he has been a revelation. I'll be honest with you. When he first signed for Newcastle, I was thinking, like, who's this guy? Like, why have they signed him? It's just like just a PR stunt, just get a guy in, part of the affiliated league clubs thing. Because they really looked to me that had some decent defensive players, and they would, for me, looking like they needed a striker with Isak going and maybe spice up that midfield and wing. And they did do some business in that area. But he looks like to be a revelation. And some are saying he's been Newcastle's best players this season, behind the likes of, or maybe beside the likes of Watermore. But terrific performance for him today. 2 goals. Newcastle really started to turn the corner. Obviously, Everton, away to Everton 4-1 victory would be a big victory for the likes of Everton, considering the fact that for Newcastle, sorry, because Everton, we all know, new ground. Everton traditionally is not a nice place to go. David Moyes has been really going well this season, and there's been some question marks around Eddie Howe and his position at Newcastle. And has he reached his limit? Is he quite there yet? And before this game, they was really struggling away from home. I think it was hadn't won 7 games away from home. So a victory again today at Everton is definitely going to push Newcastle in the right direction. And again, of that debate, of that midfield debate, Talali and Bruno, that midfield, they definitely look like they are one of the best in the league. Just the way they seamlessly play, the fluidity, the tempo, the creativity is really of a high caliber. And we all said with Newcastle without Isak, are they going to struggle? And the boy Whittemore, again, he just looks like a complete striker for me. I really do like him. I definitely feel that Man United definitely should be looking at that type of striker. And I do believe that he's going to go to the high levels because he is a good talent. And shout out to the boy Lewis Miley as well, back from injury, back into that Newcastle midfield. We saw last season his performances and how he was having an impact on that Newcastle team, but it definitely seems that he's come back to that team, and he is definitely a player that Eddie Howe sees as a vital component moving forward. And he just runs the show. He's up everywhere, box to box, great energy, great physicality, and his pass completion rate was 92%. So it shows that he's not just about just running around, showing energy, putting tackles in. He can actually play with the ball, and he's definitely a player that people should look out for, especially I feel like he can maybe creep into that England squad in terms of his quality, because England right now in that midfield area with the likes of Alisson as well, Wharton, Jude, Rice, seeing some nice blends on some real good quality in that midfield, especially I think England have been starved of good quality midfielders. So definitely Lewis Miley creeping into that bracket there of maybe going into the World Cup squad. But yes, guys, man. And how can I forget my boys Manchester United before I lock out? Am I crazy? Yeah, I left my boys to last. I knew I was missing something. Of course, my boys, am I crazy? You know, it's because I made a TikTok about it. I'm there, gassed, and revelating, and I thought, you know what? But yeah, didn't want to start with it and that, because you know I don't want to be biased and everything there. But yeah, the boys Manchester United. Do you know what it is? I won't even say I'm not gonna come with all this Bear back malarkey talk. But you know what? Man United's on a good, decent run of form. I think we've only lost 2 games in the last 9 Premier League games. When you look over the course over the period of Amarin's stint, especially this period of form, you can definitely see progression, and you can see where Man United need to improve. You can see after a couple of injuries, the quality is not really quite there. We didn't go through a barren run where we're not picking up victories and we're having completely poor performances. I know Everton was a poor performance, but I think that was just a testament to show that, look, the quality is not quite there. The cracks are not being papered over. So I think we're so close to January, and especially with the likes of Ahmad and Bremo and Mazraoui again going away on African Cup of Nations duty, it's going to be important for Manchester United to go into that window and definitely increase that quality. I know there's a lot of rumours going around with the likes of Alisson, Baleba, and other little players. They're going to be difficult signings to get in January, but Manchester United do need to make a signing. And it's not just a signing just to get into the team. As you can see, quality. Yeah, the numbers are there, but when you look at the quality, it's not quite there. So if any player that Manchester United's got to sign, they've got to be at the right caliber to get into that team. Because as you can see, in the defensive areas, for me, Euro, even though today he never got dribbled, he had 5 clearances today, and no one got past him, dribbled him past him once. But I just see that frailty in this game. I see that nervousness in this game where he's just still young. And I just feel like, obviously, I know Maguire's been injured and Martinez has come back. I feel like with Mazraoui going to international break, like I said, African Cup of Nations soon in the next couple of weeks, I do feel the defensive area, in all parts of the area of Man United midfield, any quality that they can bring in that January transfer window, they just need to bring it in. And yes, we can see players can play in different positions. We can see, obviously, Cunha, I know he's injured. When he comes back, he can also play up front. Obviously, Ahmad's going away, but when he's in the team, he can play in different positions. But we do need that quality. We do need that quality to go in. And obviously, with the likes of Kobe as well, when he come on today, I don't know. With Kobe one, it's a strange one. Because obviously, quality, I do want him to play. I want him to have a good impact on for Manchester United. But if I'm being totally honest, yeah, the last couple of times I've seen him come on the pitch, I haven't seen the Kobe that I've expected. And I'm not going to be one of them people that say, oh, do you know what? Like, he's not starting. Like, he needs to have a run of games. Like, at the end of the day, if you're a young player playing for Manchester United, like, even if you're playing 1 minute, bro, like, you need to be treating that's the last minute that you're going to play for Manchester United. And I don't know what it is with Kobe. Even when he came on today, there was a little cover on his face. It's like a little screwy face. Because I think he played like, 10 minutes or something today. Like, wasn't really like showing any interest. And he didn't do bad. Obviously, he came on in a 95% completion rate, and he just didn't want to lose the ball today. But I feel like I need to see when he does get his chances, because I do feel Casemiro definitely needs a stint of recharging. Like, I think he needs some time on the bench, but then you can see when Casemiro's not in the team, statistically wise, Man United really do suffer. So again, the quality in midfield, Man United definitely need to look at that when it goes to the January transfer window. But good win for Man United. Obviously, Crystal Palace have been unbeaten at home this season. To go and beat Crystal Palace at home. Crystal Palace have been struggling after their Conference League games this season. So I think Man United have pounced on that and definitely took advantage of that. And obviously, after the penalty, the second half, Man United definitely turned the screw, more urgency, more impetus in it. And I think Mason Mount is definitely starting to show that he's a big important player in this Man United team, and we're starting to see I think this is the first 90 minutes that he's ever played for Man United as well. So, and I saw the likes of Joe Cole saying that if he can carry on doing what he's doing, it'd be good for him to get back in the England team. And we all know Tuchel and his Chelsea players, so we don't know, that would be good for Man United as well if Mason Mount can get back into the England team. But overall, good win for Man United. But obviously, we know that next week is the most important game for. The most important game is the next game. So next week, Man United need to go on and win the game. Yes, guys, thank you for locking in. I know I didn't catch every team. Big shout out to the boys. Burnley 3-1 win. Brentford 3-1 win against Burnley. Shout out to the boys. Thiago, the guys is mashing up the place. I want to shout out to him. Scored twice again today. Aerial monster with Tony Tupident, aerial duels 1, and he's just a monster of a target man. I definitely feel that he's a player, not in the next window, definitely the summer window, that the top clubs are definitely going to keep a sharp eye on. So look out for that. And yes, guys, don't forget to lock in. Follow us on all our social medias. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you're watching. We've got loads of shows coming up. Like I said, next week, Monday, I'm going to give a breakdown of the next generation of talents coming through. We're going to have a deep dive. We're going to be looking at their stats, looking at the clubs rumored. And with the transfer window coming up, we're going to be giving you guys the transfer news of the young players who are being rumored to be going elsewhere. And also as well, let us know, you know what I'm saying, inform us, let us know any rumors of any young player you want any interest about or any information about. Don't forget to hit us up and lock in, guys. Thanks for locking in. See you guys soon. Let's go, buddy.